working effectively 24 hours? They're doing what they do during the day?
No, not as much as we expect.
So which means they can do much more?
Yes. I'm also thinking that it's because the doctors and the hospital administrators know that the traffic to the hospitals are not as much as during the day. So it wouldn't make sense keeping doctors awake when no one is coming. So sometimes some of them are on standby. And in case of emergency, I'm sure they will quickly rush there. But if we increase traffic to the place in the night, I'm sure they will make provisions.
Again, I know of people who may have some conditions, in the night, in the early hours of the morning. But because they know that they will not go and meet a doctor, they want to manage the situation at home. They will try to do some first aid at home before they go to the hospital. Yeah. But if they are sure that they will get the doctors there, then they would go. I mean, the occasions where accidents have occurred, and the people are rushed to the hospital, and they would have the doctors on duty to perform the attend to the accident victims. Calls have to be placed for the doctors to come, and it's not cool. So, but generally, what challenges do you think that the night economy? Let me put it that way.
Yes.
What challenges do they face?
Yes. So the most obvious one. So you see, let's speak from where we were coming from.
Okay.
When I grew up in the hospitals, because my mom was a midwife. Now, back then, you would realize that nurses and doctors were staying in the hospitals, the nurses' quarters and whatever they call it. But now we have shirked our duties as a state. Most of these doctors are staying very far away from where they work, and we are not treating them well. So, first of all, we are not motivating them enough. And secondly, instead of us giving them accommodation near where they work, we have allowed them to stay very far away.
But the doctor's flat is there.
No, they are more than what the flat can accommodate.
That I agree.
Yeah. We have specialists. So I'm sure these days, those that senior doctors and specialists who have access, even if they will not stay there, I'm sure they will give them the chance for them to also call on whoever they think they want the person to stay there. So I'm sure it would. So it begins with infrastructure. If we really want to make the night more active, we need to start off with infrastructure, good infrastructure. So if it's about the agriculture like this, we need to make sure that our road networks are good, because traveling on bad roads in the night is even dangerous. And we also have to make sure that we are making it in such a way that, because yesterday I talked about the fact that in the UK, wholesale and retail activities are third in terms of ranking in the night. And we expect these long and cargo cars to be traveling in the night. It means that we also have to make the normal, the small cars comfortable during the day. Because if we still compete with them in the evening, then we are not going to achieve the so-called economic activities for which we are trying to facilitate in the night. So if I know that if I'm moving from here to Accra, and even at start of the journey from 9 o'clock, I will still meet time or be within the time, then there wouldn't be any need for me to travel in the night to risk my life competing with long vehicles. So I think infrastructure is very important. We need to provide accommodation.
So and as I speak, that's one of the weaknesses. Infrastructure, the gap is a weakness if we want to really roll out this policy.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you see, we Ghanaians, we have our own culture. And if you take Ghana as a part of the world, we have our subculture. Only few of us are quite nocturnal, and we are highly superstitious. So there are so many people, if you ask them to come out, maybe you walk to the roadside, they cannot trust the riches in their families. You understand? So they'll be afraid to even walk in the night. And so we may have to change our attitudes and our world view, how we see things. That will be very important. And we may also have to, the actual landlords of the night economy are the armed robbers. They've been there for a long time. So if we want to make the night active, we have to make sure that security is adequate. And so that brings to mind our security agencies. We have to also resource them and make them more active in the night, make sure they are visible. Recently I've been seeing police on motorbikes. A
lot of them on motorbikes, yeah.
But I think that they are really not ready. They seem, how do I put it? They are not battery ready. So if you pounce on them, if an armed robber pounce on them, they'll be helpless. It's like the way our bullion vans have been attacked in recent times.
But I've seen, again, forgive me, I've seen some of the bullion vans being changed to suit what recommendations were made, because you can see some of the bullion vans and you can tell this is an armored a bullion van, maybe has bulletproof glasses and stuff like that. But you're saying that to you, the police officers you see on our roads who are on motorbikes, they don't seem to be battle ready. I have concerns when they're on the motorbike with the AK-47 strapped around their chest or their back. Why don't they have sidearms? But then again, John Mahama mentioned in his speech that security will be key. And I agree that you're also talking about security. He says security will be key. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that, well, he knows the dangers, he knows the terrain, and therefore something will be done about it. But having raised some of the weaknesses or the concerns, of course, you talk about poor roads, you talk about infrastructure, you talk about security and all that. Let's